Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Happy Friday. We have 9 NBA games to discuss for tonight, so let's get into it. As always, if you enjoy the videos, appreciate it. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Last night, thought the Warriors would become great plays when Curry and Draymond were ruled out, and they ended up just not doing anything. They struggled to score, which is not going to help you in DFS, but big time disappointments from Jordan Poole, from Peyton. Only guy that was semi-decent was Wiggins, but also Otto Porter sucked. But tonight we have 9 games. Looks like the Utah Jazz are going to be the best team to target today. They are super limited on bodies, just looking at their players. If some of these questionable guys are not able to play, then this game will get canceled. But if all the questionable guys are in, then this game will play. You're going to have big usage for Jordan Clarkson, for Rudy Gay, for Hassan Whiteside is going to get a ton of minutes at center. Royce O'Neal is also going to get a lot of playing time, and now he's not a guy that takes a lot of shots, but tonight you'd probably see him take 10 plus shots. And even the min price guys like Trent Forrest will get some good run. Butler will get some good run as well as a backup point guard. So the Jazz are the best team to target today. Looking at the point guard positions, you have LeBron at 11-6. Luka is doubtful, so you're not going to have Luka. I probably wouldn't. I think you can pay up for LeBron. I probably wouldn't play Harden with. Actually, I think Kyrie Irving is out today. I don't think he's allowed to play in Brooklyn yet. So Irving is out, but whenever he's able to play, he's going to take away from Harden. So you could go to Harden if you wanted to, but I probably like LeBron James the best. Bradley Beal was on pace to have a very good game, and then he just went ice cold in the second half, and he fouled out in just 30 minutes. So that's something you can't project. Did have the over 50 fantasy points on him for prize picks, and fouling out definitely cost him there. But he's still playing big minutes, and it should be a competitive game against Chicago. I wouldn't play Russell Westbrook today at 10-1. I'd rather get up to Bradley Beal. Trae Young, if he plays, he looks good just because he's been really racking up the fantasy points. Put up 85 against Portland in that thriller shootout game, and he's starting to hit his threes recently and still gets to the free throw line at a ridiculous clip. We don't have Lillard today. We don't have Drew Holiday also is out for the Milwaukee side, so a slight bump for Middleton, probably a slight bump for Giannis as well. 7K range, I like Jalen Brunson, De'Aaron Fox. They both look pretty solid. Brunson without Luka and Porzingis is going to get a ton of usage. Other plays in the 6K range would definitely be Anfernee Simons, who has taken advantage of the extra playing time that he's been afforded without Damian Lillard, McCollum, and he's playing big minutes. He's been hitting his shots, and he's a good shooter in general, so it's not like it's a fluke that he's hitting 50+% from the floor. Obviously, you probably don't expect 50+% from the three-point line, but he's getting assists, which is nice, so that gives you a nice floor. He's just playing big minutes, so he's going to run into some rebounds, run into some steals. I think he's a great play again today, even though the Cleveland has played very good defense for the entire year. But you probably have to start with Jordan Clarkson at $5,500. He's questionable right now. Assuming he plays, the price tag is too cheap, missing all their high usage players. We'll get a lot of minutes handling the ball, so hopefully racks up some assists, and he should be looking at 34, 35 minutes today. Other plays below Jordan Clarkson at point guard, I guess you could look to Jalen Green just for some tournament upside at 5,000. In the 3K range, don't have much interest besides some of like the min price guys on Utah, and maybe if we get some more news with guys missing the game today. Moving on to shooting guard, you're looking at Bradley Beal. I like him more than Zach LaVine now that the Bulls are all healthy. Van Fleet gives you some upside for tournaments, but he's probably not a guy you want to look to in cash games. I think Garland gives you upside in tournaments as well, and he's not going to get much ownership at this price tag, but he has been great in terms of just scoring, and he gets you a lot of assists as well. So he gives you double upside, and he can get red hot from distance. I'm not too interested in Edwards or Russell at their price tags. I think Brunson looks the best out of that group, but I'm going to plug in Simons for now at 62, just given the minutes that he's going to be playing tonight, given the upside that he has shown, and at home, Portland has played very tough this year, even though their record is awful in general. In the 5K range, you have Tim Hardaway, who's going to get some big minutes tonight for Dallas without Luka, who's doubtful, and Porzingis, unless he happens to get cleared, which I don't think he will. In the 4K range, you have a bunch of questionable pieces. Maybe Chetty Osman, if he's able to play, he could start at the 2. In the 3K range, you're looking at some minutes for Reggie Bullock. but not too much interest there. I'll probably look at Trent Forrest as one of the better plays at $3,200 if he's 32 at shooting guard. Small forward for your pay-ups, it's definitely LeBron. I think Durant looks very appealing at 10-3. You can save $1,300 from LeBron. He's been putting up an absolute clinic this entire year in terms of just field goal percentage. Most of these games he's shooting over 50% from the floor, which is insane. He gets to the free throw line, hits his threes, and in general, just 61, 51, 45, 48, 62, gets his fantasy points, plays close to 40 minutes in close games, which this one should be a close one. It should be high scoring. Kuzma has been very good recently. He's at 8K now, so he's at a price tag where you're going to have to really think about playing him. I probably would pass, but he still gives you some reason to look to him in tournaments if you make a bunch of teams. The value range, it's definitely Tim Hardaway at 51, Nasir Little at 48 because there's no Larry Nance today as well. And you're looking at some of the just value picks on Utah, like Rudy Gay should start and play big minutes today. He can hit some threes, and he's going to get a lot of shots off without Donovan Mitchell, especially without Gobert, without Conley. Power forward, looking to pay up for Giannis. He looks good after missing last game with an illness. He should be on pace to have a very good game. He should get more ball handling duties, bring the ball up the court in this one without Jrue Holiday. So I think Giannis is probably like one of the best spend ups on the slate. Him and Jokic, it's a coin flip between them. I slightly prefer Jokic right now, but no problem with you trying to get up to Giannis at power forward. You do have some decent values at power forward in the 4K range, like Nasir Little. He looks good. Covington is going to get some more minutes today without Larry Nance. And you have Royce O'Neal at 41. So it's just tough to get away from some of these Jazz pieces with them being so shorthanded. But I think O'Neal would be one of the guys that I'm looking at. At center, you can always pay up for Jokic when you have all this value on the slate, so that's something I'm going to try to do. Coming off of an absolute monster, he did have a triple-double, but coming off an absolute monster game against the Jazz, and that was when they didn't have Whiteside and they didn't have Gobert, so there was just nobody to stop Jokic, and he was able to do whatever he wants. Going up against a Sacramento team that has also, they don't have anybody to stop Jokic. Looking at their centers today, they don't have Rashawn Holmes. So you're looking at Jones, Alex Len, and Tristan Thompson, who hasn't even been playing. So basically Damian Jones, Alex Len, and Marvin Bagley are going to be the guys trying to stop Jokic. Probably pencil him in for another 70-plus points fantasy-wise, maybe even get close to 80 fantasy points tonight. And you're going to be looking at a two-center approach if you play Jokic because you have the absolute best value pick on the slate is Hassan Whiteside if he starts at center going up against Toronto. He's a very good fantasy player in terms of point per minute production. He's averaging 19 in just 15 minutes this year. He's gone off for some big games in limited minutes in his career. Just recently, 36 and 19 minutes, he can get you a double-double, and he will get you a double-double if he starts and he's able to play today. So hopefully he's able to get clear from that concussion because he looks like a very, very good appealing option. And the last guy I'm going to plug in is Jalen Brunson at the guard position just because you're going to be looking to at least get to one or two of these Dallas players without Luka and Porzingis. You can look to Hardaway, you can look to Finney-Smith, I think Maxey, Kleber at 4,000 looks fine, but Brunson gives you the best projection in terms of just raw points, plays big minutes, gets you assists, gets you a couple rebounds, going to take some good shots. He's taking 25-plus shots in some of these games. Without Luka, I probably expect like 15 to 20 as a floor, and he's a pretty good shooter in general, so you expect him to hit 40, 50% of those. So that's about it for the DraftKings side. Load up on Utah, probably load up on Jokic today. I like Simons as another value pick. So that's it for DK. Let's go over to FanDuel. So point guard plays on FanDuel. Trae Young is the most expensive player, which definitely you can go to him against the Lakers defense. They've been one of the worst defensive teams this year. The Spurs are also a bit shorthanded, but I probably want to pay 10-4 for DeJounte Murray. Probably get up to Trae Young or go down to like James Harden without Kyrie today. Value pick. Westbrook's at a decent price tag at 86, so it makes you, gives you some reason to consider him, but probably like Garland at 8K more than Russell Westbrook. Simons is a little bit tougher to get to at 75. I think Garland looks better for just 500 more. And for the value picks here, you're going to be looking at Brunson at only 53. He's going to be very tough to ignore on FanDuel. He's going to get big minutes and a lot of usage. think you can also go to like Clarkson. Also, we'll talk about him at shooting guard. Top plays at shooting guard are Bradley Beal, James Harden. In the mid-range, it's definitely Darius Garland at 8,000. You can go to Chris Middleton. You can even consider Simons, but probably you have Powell cheaper, and you just have some other guys on other teams that look similar, if not a little bit better. But it's going to be very, very tough to pass up on Clarkson, assuming he's able to play today. With all the guys that are out for Utah on both sides, he's just going to be a plug and play. Small forward, I think Giannis is another guy that we can get to because at center, you can only use one guy at center. So on FanDuel, you might prefer to get up to Giannis so you can use your center spot on Whiteside if you're not going to be looking to use it on Jokic. But give me Giannis. He's at a very good price tag, 11.7. Without Jrue Holiday against Brooklyn, he should be on pace to play big minutes in terms of, because I think it will be a close game, and it's one that will be very good for fantasy-wise as well. It should be a higher scoring game. The mid-range, you have Will Barton at 64. You can go to Scotty Barnes. In the 5K range, you have both Hardaway and Finney Smith that look like pretty good values. Nasir Little at 55. And down in the 4K range, you have, like Rudy Gay at 48. You can play him at two spots. Power forward, you can play Giannis here if you wanted to. Durant also, if you wanted to stack up that game. Durant, Giannis going back and forth. Jared Allen puts up big fantasy points, gives you a lot of upside for the blocks. So he looks great at 82 if you wanted to save some money compared to the studs. And if you're going with the value pick, it's going to be Rudy Gay at 48. He's just going to have to play big minutes today, assuming this game does play. And he does give you upside in terms of just hitting threes, getting you some defensive stats, and getting you some rebounding. And at center, it's basically Jokic. Two guys I'm considering, it's Jokic. And I'm going to go, if I'm not going to be looking to get up to Jokic, it's going to be Hassan Whiteside. He's at a more, probably it's way better of a value on DraftKings, but he's still a good value on FanDuel, I'd say. He does give you block upside as well. Going up against Toronto, there's a chance that they can go small if they play Siakam at the 5, which they have been. But I still think Utah is going to give Whiteside at least like 25 to 30 plus minutes if he's not in foul trouble. And in those minutes, he can get you 40, 45. So even if Jokic goes for 70, you might be better off playing Whiteside. So it's still a bit of a toss-up between those two in terms of figuring out, what other spots you're going to be able to pay up with. But it's either Whiteside or Jokic. I'm not really messing with any of these other centers because I would play Jared Allen at power forward. You can play Wood at power forward. Gafford, Pirtle. I think Nurkic's still a good value if he's not suspended today. But you can save some money and get to Whiteside instead. And that's about it for the video. Thank you for watching. Happy Friday. Hope you guys all have a great weekend. I'll be having a video out for tomorrow, maybe even for the football slate. We have a 2-gamer for NFL tomorrow. But best of luck tonight, and I'll see you all next time.